everybody. In today's video, let us see chapter 6, unit 5, compiler. Have textbooks? Well, we discuss, mark the point, read important things, read your textbooks, analyze the textbook, okay? Read the textbooks. So in a chapter 6, compiler. So what is compiler? Compiler is nothing but a high-level programming language. So compiler is high-level programming language. So what is the use of this? This language is easily understandable by humans. So it is called high-level language. So a high-level language is not known to the computer. So it need to be converted to the computer. So to convert that to the computer should know the and should understand what is high level language, what is the rules in a high level language, so that it can convert that. Then we have to convert those high level language to low level language. We have the software called compiler. So compiler is nothing but a system program which is used to convert high level language to low level language. Yeah. So a high level language is nothing but it consists of grammar. We already discussed in TOC, we have set of grammars, right? So grammar means nothing but it specifies the syntax. Whatever the syntax you use, you might have heard in your high level language, take down the syntax. High level language is completely jumbled of a syntax. So you need to write a program using the syntax. So that is what, that syntax is nothing but a grammar. So I can tell that it described using in terms of a grammar. So in high level language, what do we have? We have grammar. So again here TOC comes. So to identify the programming language, we require TOC, correct? So high level language have syntax, that is syntax are formed by the grammar. Yeah. For example, in high level language, imagine you need to assign to one variable, then we will use the operator is equal to, right? So this very high level language, which is nothing but easy to understand, we are using an expression. Again, it is a symbol. Whenever there is a symbol, we are defining a grammar, right? Using a symbol, a grammar is defined. TOC, you remember, right? In high level language, we use expression. It is very easy to understand. So expressions and language is easy. Instead of recording everything, we are using the expressions, we are using the operators, we are using the symbols. So whenever you use the symbols, then that is nothing but a grammar. So I can tell that it is high level language can describe in terms of the grammar, right? So what is compilation? Compilation is matching this grammar, whether grammar is proper, whether grammar is matching or not. If it is not matched, then it is telling that it's a syntax error, means grammar is not matching. There is an error in a grammar. So you will get an error as match, there is a syntax error, right? So compilation have matching the grammar. If grammar matches, then there is no error. If there is not, if the grammar is not matched, then it's an error, right? So grammars are different way of representing. So one of the best way is BNF. We already discussed Backus normal form. So combining everything, in TOC we discussed. So grammar consists of rules. BNF is nothing but it is a grammar which has a rules, clear, which has defined the syntax and some which is used in your programming language. It is used to construct your programming language. Clear? So high level language is nothing but it is described using the help of grammar. So to convert that, we want a system software called compiler which accepts the high level language and which produce the output into machine language. Yeah. As high level language, everything is not coded, it is used in different types of a symbol. Then computer should know about the meaning of a symbol also. So it's a very complex task of converting high level language to machine level language, because here everything is not we call can tell it as it is embedded code. We have BNF form, we are telling BNF form is nothing but A can go for B, A can go for C, A can go for D. So there are n number of chances are there, embedded are there in one single. Yeah, A, I can go with B or C or D. So there are n number of, for example, is equal to operations. Is equal to operations, one we are using to check or to assign. If we use double equal to, then it means it is using to check the pattern. right? If it is used with a not equal to, then it is used for checking the conditions. So where you are using this operator, its use, its meaning also keeps on changing, right? So the conversions is more complex, so the compilation process is more complex. So it is implemented in different phase. Clear? In one phase it is performing one operation, that is what it is performing in different steps. In one steps it is performing one operation, so that is called as a phase. We call it as a phase. Phase is nothing but it's a logical cohesion operation. In each phase there will be operation, they are interrelated, each phases are interrelated logically, one after the phase, in another will be called, another will be executed, so that connections is cohesions will be logical cohesion operations that takes an input of one representation of a source program and produce to the another. So that is why the compiler works in different phase. Phase is nothing but it's a single series of operation, I can tell, or a logical cohesion operations that takes one input of one representation and produce another represent of a output. Clear? So to understand what are the machine level, in order to how compiler must work, first compiler should recognize your strings. Compiler, whatever you write your syntax, that's what initially when you type only, I'll keep on telling from the beginning only that whenever you type a program, you can check that text color changes, int color is changed, variables color is changed. Whenever you use hash, then that color has been changed. Hash include stdio.h. If you use an angle bracket, again color change. That is what the first step compiler doing, recognizing the string basic elements like variables, which is keyword, which is label, everything, operators, everything is recognized by the compiler. Clear? This was first step. Inside this there are a number of phases, so it is nothing but first step means it's the order of procedure how it executes. After that what it will do, it will recognize the elements, whether whatever the elements you have written, the syntax, whether it is proper or not, whether the syntax are whatever you are meaning, whether you are writing int a with the space, the syntax how you are writing, whether it is proper, it are interpreting the meaning, what is the meaning of the syntax. So it is checking the syntax, it is interpreting the meaning and producing the output. Yeah, for example, procedures name, definitions, variable, you have n number of variables you use, so whether these are proper or not. So that's what they're recognizing, the combination of elements. Now it is not individually string by string it is identifying, it is combination of, means if you have a procedure, if you need to have an open bracket, then there should be a closed bracket. If you have an open flower bracket, then the procedure and should be the closed cover bracket. That's what recognize the combination of element. Third procedure or the next what compiler do, it allocates the storage, assign, and variables, the variable whatever you are having, assign the location for the variables. Clear? And the last, it generate the object code. Clear? So main, in general I can tell that it takes the source program and provides you the object program. So to perform this object program, in the 4 you have 7 phases. So in a 4, what generally we are pointing out, to perform that it is performing many tasks, then it is using n number of tables. So database used by compiler use large number of tables to store all this, to perform this. Clear? So when we look about we don't have an algorithm, we have just the tables. So to check with how a compiler works, we need to have a databases, nothing but we already discussed how assembler work. We'll go with the database and then we'll go with the algorithm, right? Your loader also same, here also to perform that it is used several of tables. We'll list one by one when we go on. Yeah, so you have source program, whatever you will write, your program will be, it will be consist of set of strings, you will have symbols, you have variables name, labels, keyword, everything. So symbol is different, your variable name is different, your operators will be different, so you will use, for each you will use different tables, so that it will use n number of tables. Yeah, So what is the task? How the compiler works? So basic task of a compiler. This is 5 marks question. In the previous 2 marks question is BNF and the phases. What is phase? So 2 marks question, what is phase and what is what is BNF and what is the procedure of a compiler? 4 procedures you had, that 4 procedure you have to. Basic task of compiler. So it performed 2 tasks, analysis phase and synthesize phase, which already dealt. Analysis phase analyze and synthesize gives the target program, right? So before analysis and synthesize, there is a processing, pre-processing phase. What is this pre-processing? It is nothing but it comes together with the analyze. So it will keeps on analyzing when you are writing. So preprocessor, what it will do, it will remove the command, macros and directives. If you have in a program any macros, if you have any directives, if you have any commands, it will be removed. Clear? So comment, you know that it was the double slash identifying it, remove that statement because it is not required for the execution. And if you have any hash in your program, it specifies a directive, preprocessor directive we used to tell. So how to replace it? If it is a macro, then it will replace with the program. If it is a directive, for example, if hash define, if you are having and you are defined that with the pi, used it for the pi declaration. So wherever you use pi, the pi is replaced with the 3.14, right? So this is done in a preprocessor. In a preprocessor task. Clear? In a preprocessor, what it will do, wherever the pi is there, it will be replaced with the number 3.14. It's the value of a pi, right? So it's a preprocessor. What it will do, it remove the commands, it will arrange if you have a macros, and if you have any directives, it will perform the certain action for the directives. Next is the analyze phase. What analysis phase? Analysis phase, again we are divided into 3. So this is nothing but in the one phase we have 3 phases. So total 7 phases are there. Generally we are talking as 2 different phases, analysis and synthesis. In that, analysis got 3. Clear? Means totally there are 2 general phases, analysis and synthesis phase. Whereas in the analysis phase it is performing 3 different phases. In synthesis phase it is performing 3 plus 1, 4 different phases. So 4 plus 3, totally 7 different phases we will call. Yeah, so that is lexical phase, syntax phase and semantic phase. What lexical phase will do? Lexical phase is nothing but called as a scanner. It scans. It checks your tokens, it checks your variable's name, whatever you write, keyword. Whenever you type, it will scan. It keep on scan. Okay, if you are written int, yeah, it's an token. If you are written float, it's a token. If you are not given any space, float a, then it is not recognizing what is that. It's not scanning. So it won't highlight the color. So in the lexical phase, it's known as a scanner. It just identifies tokens, it identifies the variables, constants, keywords, etc. In syntax phase, it's called as a parser. Means it determines the manner, it determines the syntax. So if you are not leaving any space, float a, you are declaring and you are not leaving any space in between, then it is not in a manner. Right? Parser feels that there is no proper manner, then it's a syntax error. So that is what the syntax analyzer. So it works in analysis phase. It analyzes whether it is proper or not. It checks the strings, whether the strings are proper or not. String scans that. In a syntax phase, it tells that it's an error. Clear? It checks for the manner, whether the written manner is same or not. Means nothing but it checks with the grammar or the syntax. If there are syntax errors, you might have had. In the third analyzer is called as semantic analyzer. So here in syntax analyzer, it checks the syntax. You can see if open bracket expression, close bracket statement. So syntax is proper. It does not have any meaning. Why after if, open bracket, why after that close bracket, this all you know in a C++ syntax. You have to write like this. That doesn't have a meaning. After that semicolon. In English, you will write simply, you will write end up with the full stop, right? And even though after a paragraph, you can end up with the full stop. But here, each line should be end up with the semicolon. It doesn't have any meaning. It should write like that as the syntax. Whereas semantic analysis, the difference between syntax and semantic. Semantic analysis means it makes sense. Whatever you are writing, it's about the logic. So float x. Then you can't declare it as this is red because you are declaring it's a character. Right? In that place, if you have a++, then it's okay. But if this is red, it is not making sense, because float is a data type of fraction, right? You cannot have the character, right? And in integer you cannot store character, in character you can't store the number. So this is what this type of syntax error makes some sense. Then that kind of error we call it as semantic errors. Then that kind of errors we call it as semantics error. Clear? So in analysis phase, these things, whether the first structure is proper or not, that's what the scanner lexical will do. Second is syntax, which will check for the syntax, and third is the semantics. So analysis work, 5 marks question, easy question. You read twice, you can analyze, you can understand properly. So this is what analysis. Source program will be given to analysis phase and synthesis phase. So in analysis phase you have lexical, you have syntactic and semantic analysis. Clear? Second phase is synthesize phase. Again you have 3: intermediate code, code optimization, and code generation. Yeah, so we'll go with the synthesis phase. In synthesis phase, what is synthesis phase? So again it is divided into 3. Synthesize means nothing but it gives the target program. So here, after execution of this phase, we will get total output, that is what the object program. You can see that 3 plus 3, 6 is there. How come it's a 7 phase? So code optimization works in 2 phases. One is machine dependent and machine independent. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, this works in a 2 phase, 4, 5, 6, and this is 7. So total compiler is of 7 phase. Clear? So synthesis phase, in the synthesis phase you have 3 different phases again, that is intermediate code generation, code optimization, and assembly output. So intermediate code generation, this phase you can skip based on type of a compiler you are using. If you are using a compiler which want a direct translator, means directly output, compile and go methodology, there only will compile and you will run from the same memory, then no need of generating the intermediate code. Means you are not storing any object file, you are just running a object for, you are creating an object file and running from the same. That is what absolute loaders do. Then intermediate code generation, this phase can be skipped, else you need to include this. So it is nothing but it helps for the programmer to have one single compiler for n number of systems. Portability options, right? So what is the purpose of this step is to allow the compiler to write to separate different target programs and different language within a minimum effort. Yeah, so this can be skipped if you are directly having compile and go, assembler and go type of loader. No, if you want to have a portability system software, then you need to have intermediate code generation. Yeah. Next phase is code optimization. This is nothing but optimization. We are optimization in the sense we are using better method to make the thing easy. It is called, or efficient. It is called as optimization. Means when you generate a code, improve its efficiency, we call it as optimization. For example, to access any of the address, best method is using a pointer. Simply going one after the other one. If I want a 5th location of an array, I just can use a pointer and I can call it as a of 4, right? Instead of going a of a plus 1, then again a plus 2, a plus 3, and then a plus 3, a plus 4, like that. Instead of incrementing, I can directly point into some particular location. This is nothing but optimization method. Clear? We are increasing the efficiency using n number of pointer is one of the best example of increasing the efficiency. It's called code optimization. And the last phase is code generation. It is nothing but assembly language, which is nothing but an object program. Clear? After all the conversion and all the optimization has been done, at the finally you will get an object program. Clear? If everything has been done by the compiler, then last we'll call one linker, which is used to combine all the different object program and to load for the final executions. Yeah, everything will be done by the compiler and linker only links everything, or else we can have conversions and linker will do the external linking all. So two types of object program I can create. So this is what the general how compiler works. So compiler works in two phases. That is what a very basically if we talk, then it is analyze phase and synthesis phase. If we go in detail, then we'll go one by one how lexical phase, how semantic phase, everything will works. So we'll go, that's what the first, recognizing the basic elements. So first step, that is what in analysis lexical phase, right? In that it is identifying a basic element. Clear? So this is nothing but correlated. I'm talking again and again the same thing. In the first I told recognizing the string, that is nothing but a basic element, right? This is what the first thing what we discussed in the compiler. Compiler, what it will do, it will recognize the basic element. Then what it will do, it recognize the meaning. Then what it will do, it will assign. Then it will give the object program. Similarly, we spoke about the same in analysis phase. It recognize, that is what is scan. It check the meaning, that is what syntax meaning or semantic meaning. Third step, what it will give the and allocate everything. So it's nothing but optimizations, and then it gives the target program. So it's what it will give the generation. So in the same, we'll go one by one how it will perform. Recognize the basic element. This is a 5 marks question. Recognize the basic element means we are recognizing the tokens, we are recognizing the symbols. So we are whatever the symbols, identifiers, the literals, operators, whatever you are used, those we call it as a tokens. So these tokens are unified symbol, int, only that you have to write. It's a fixed size. It is a symbols are of fixed size. You can't change. Integer, I know integer, so that I can't write it as int here, g here, right? Int means int, int. Even though you know that it's an integer, you know the spelling, you couldn't write those things because those are the taken, which is a basic element, which is already fixed in that size, right? Analyzing those fixed size element is nothing but recognizing the basic element, right? Constant, you can't change the size. Clear? So in that token recognition, nothing but it identify the blanks, operators, whatever you are having. It is a process of scanning. It scans the components. Clear? And second, parsing. Parsing is nothing but it checks the meaning. What kind of a meaning? It doesn't have any meaning. Means it's just taking the syntax, whether syntax is proper or not. And the third one is nothing but semantic, which actually check about the meaning, whether whatever you are storing, that is if in the place of float, whether you are storing only the float elements or whether you are storing any character elements. So checking all those things, it's a semantic. Yeah. So what are the lexical process? Lexical process, there are the steps given, easy. 2 marks question. Explain lexical process. You can just go with the points or you can go with the theory also. So it's a one single pass which checks for the tokens. It will do one scan and it will check the tokens. Clear? Next, what it will do, it separates, it reduce the size of a tokens, whatever you are having, parsing the tokens, clear, and declare those tokens that are not needed. Means if you have any undefined symbols which is not matching with any of the uniform symbol which is known to that, then it is declaring that there is no undefined symbols. Clear? So normally our uniform symbols will be of 1 to 31 length of a character or token. Normally you might have token, known all number of tokens, nothing but a keyword. Check the keywords. So character length is that much. It will check and it will analyze that. If there is no match with any of the uniform symbol, then it will specify that it's that there is a syntax error, right? So we'll have an example how it will do lexical analyze. So consider an example. You have an example WCM, some procedure name, colon, procedure, open bracket, rate, start, finish. Then you have declare, semicolon. Then you have declare cost, comma, rate, comma, start, comma, finish. You are declaring rate, cost, start, finish with a fixed binary length of 31. It is static, means that elements whatever the content you are storing, it cannot be changed. Clear? And then you have an formula: cost is equal to rate into start minus finish plus 2 into rate into start minus finish minus 100 semicolon, then return open bracket cost and end. It is the end of a procedure, a simple procedure, right? Then lexical, what it will do, it will search each and everything. So first is WCM, it will identify that it's a identifier, it is an identifier, some name, whatever the name, identifier. Then you have semicolon, right? It's a symbol, then it is put it to the symbol table. Then procedure, again it's an identifier, it's a name given, then open bracket, it's a symbol, then rate, again it's an identifier or a variable, then comma, it's a symbol, then start, then you have comma again, start means a variable, comma is symbol, finish again it's a variable, open bracket, semicolon. Whenever it's a semicolon, it feels that it's a terminator, right? Then next, declaration. Next you have is a declaration statement. So what you had, declare, open bracket, cost, comma, rate. So it is dividing each small basic element and identifying in that, yeah, this is symbol, this is terminator, these are the terminator, these are the symbol, these are the variables. So like that, this is the constant, like that it is analyzing. This is what the analyze phase. Clear? So you can check. Now it's an operator, it's an assigning. So it is an assignment statement. This is what analyzing done in the first phase of a compiler. Clear? Then it's a return statement. So when it comes up the keyword return, then it finds that's a return statement. Then I need to return the cost. And whenever it encounters the semicolon, it is called end. So what it will do, it will create different tables. So this is the table. You can see that whenever a procedure encounter WIC, it is entered to IND. IND is identifier table. Next you have colon, it's a terminator symbol. Then you have a literals, then it will enter to literals, you had procedures. So again it is nothing but it is wrong, IND it is not terminator, it's an identifier. Next you have open brackets, again a symbol, you can have a symbol table or a terminator. Next again rate, IND. Like this, it will arrange everything inside a table. So it use n number of tables. Yeah, so what the lexical will do, this is a function of a lexical table. Scan the characters line by line, keep the track of a line number, in which line what it is discovering. You can see that assignment statement, return statement, like that it is differentiating, right? So it is what it is doing, it is keeping the line track, producing the output missing, whatever if you are having, if necessary it will list. Clear? Then if you have a blanks, then it will be, in the first only I told that it will remove that blanks are not considered. Clear? Delete comments, whatever the comments you have, it will delete. Clear? So these are the function of lexical. So task of that, it identify the basic elements, tokens, construct 3 table, literal, identifier and symbol table, uniform symbol table. 3 table it will build. Clear? So lexical phase, create 3 table. So there are n number of table, remember 3 table from lexical, that is literal table, it is defined, identifier and uniform table. So it is used by the identifying the basic elements and the literal creating literal table, identifier table and uniform symbol table. So this was the first step of compiler, that it is recognizing the basic element. So it will recognize all the basic element, that this is your identifier, this is the terminals or terminators, it is the symbols, it is the characters, it is the special characters or the operators, like that it separates. So that is what the first step of a first phase, that recognize the basic element. Yeah. So second phase of compiler is recognizing the syntax, right? So second phase is to recognize the syntax. So how it recognizing the syntactic unit and interaction, or interpreting the recognizing the syntactic unit and interpreting the meaning, means recognize, now basic elements are recognized, now you need to analyze the syntax and interpret the meaning. If you have syntax proper without any meaning, then it's a syntax analyzing. You have meaning with the meaning. If you have a syntax, then it is called as a semantic analyze. So those two phases works together in a second phase, that is what recognizing the static units and the syntactic units and the interpreter meaning. So it is analyzing the syntax and checking the meaning. So it is nothing but recognizing the parser. Parser is nothing but, parser is the semantic analyzer. So recognizing or parsing the syntax as well as the semantic entities and interpreting the meaning. So checking the syntax and checking its meaning. So it is nothing but it notes the syntactic errors wherever you have errors and what is the recovery, all those checks. You can check that line number errors and its recovery measures also associated with that. So it will check and it initialize that these are the syntax errors we have. So that's what the steps in the recognizing the syntactic errors, right? This is how the syntax are checked. Syntax are checked using rules or a reduction. So the reduction is a 2 marks question. What is reductions? Clear? Now what is this rules or a reduction? A reduction and the rules are nothing but it is a basic syntax structures we can tell. Reductions is defined as a basic syntax structures or a constructions that are you need to follow if you are using that syntax, right? So that appropriate compiler actions to be executed when that construction is recognized. Whenever you write a syntax, for that pattern action should be taken. So that action, what action should be taken for that syntax that is defined by the reduction. So this is what a 2 marks question. It is a basic syntax structure or a constructions that used to perform certain actions whenever that construction is recognized. Means whenever the syntax is you have, then it will check what need to be done. For example, is equal to sign if you have, then what should be, it should analyze, it should assign the value. Like that, if you have any if condition, then it is telling that it's a condition. If you have a for, then it is a condition statement. So what action to be taken, that is specified using a reduction. So what is reduction? It is nothing but a rules which specify the syntax. So 2 marks questions. Question of what is reduction? Syntax form of source language. These or they define, these define the basic syntax construction and the appropriate actions routine, what action to be taken, clear, and whenever this construction is recognized. So syntax is matched, there is no syntax error, matched. Then according to that syntax, what should be done? For example, semicolon you have, then it is a next line. If you have /n, then it need to be printed in the next line. If it is /b, then there should be max spacing you need to. If it is /t, then you need to have a tab space. So these are the action routine are taken depending on the construction, what are the construction or the syntax you are followed. So that is what the second phase, that is identifying or recognizing the static unit and interpreting the meaning. Clear? Next is intermediate form. So these are two phases, that is nothing but a 3 phases together run in your analysis phase. Next is your synthesis phase, that is what intermediate code generation or intermediate form. Intermediate form is nothing but it is not a full output of a compiler, it's a middle output of a compiler, clear, which helps to generate you an object program. It is a typical intermediate middle form which is used to generate the object program. So what are the advantage of intermediate? Means instead of doing all in one shot, we can have advantage of dividing our task. Analysis one phase and synthesis is another phase. That's the best advantage. Clear it. And the other advantage is it to facilitate to optimize the object code. Means optimization in synthesis phase we can check on after getting an intermediate, still can we reduce that optimization after that analysis phase. Means before generating the object program, in a middle only we are updating the program in such a manner that it is so efficient. Instead of using a huge code, we can minimize the code. That is what the efficiency. If we minimize the code, definitely we will save the memory. So That is what the use of intermediate code means. Middle, it is not giving the complete compiled program, it is giving the half compiled program. In that again can we optimize, means can we increase the efficiency, increase of having 10, might be in terms of number of length or a memory utilization. The memory you can if you reduce the memory utilization, then it is also a good efficiency or a optimization. Clear? And second advantage is it allows the logical separations. So intermediate code help us to separate that lexical, syntax and interpretation, means lexical analyzer, analyzing the basic element, analyzing the syntax and analyzing the meaning, that is at semantic. Semantic is nothing but interpretation, is one logical phase, and your code generation and assembly is another phase. That is what this is, analysis phase and this is synthesis phase. To separate that we are using this interpret. So this is what the second advantage. So these are machine independent aspects, where now we are dealing with how the code is generated. Where the code is generated, it depends on the machine. So it helps, intermediate code helps to separate between machine independent as well as the machine dependent aspects. So these are analysis, all your synthesis, lexical, analysis phase. Basically it is machine independent, whereas synthesis, it depends on the system, because now you are getting object program, it is stored on the system. So what is the memory capacity, where the memory is, how the allocations are. So these are the machine dependent. Clear? So separate these two, machine dependent and independent, we have the intermediate code. So intermediate codes can be of three types. One, arithmetic systems statement, second is non-arithmetic statement, third one is non-executable statement. So intermediate form depends on these three constructions. So arithmetic statement, what is this? It is just like a pass tree. How you are rating the pass tree? Same. So consider that example you had, cost is equal to, so this is what the left hand side, this is what the right hand side, right? So cost is equal to, you have, so you can see that middle element, it's just like a parser, cost is equal to. Now here you can see that rate into open bracket, start minus finish close bracket, then it will execute first, after that plus 2 divided by rate into start minus finish minus 100. So within a bracket will execute first, after that it will multiply with the 2 into rate, then it will added with the start minus finish. So it is represented like this. See, start finish minus, with this element it is minusing with the 100, and with this element it is multiplying 2 into rate and again 2 into rate into this element. So this is one part. After that it is plussing with, this part is over, 2 into rate into start finish 100. Then you have plus, you are doing start minus finish, this part is over, you are multiplying it with the rate, so it is plussed. So if the syntax is represented in this order, pass tree, then it is called as arithmetic statements. Arithmetic statement, one intermediate you can represent in terms of a pass tree. Then those type of intermediate statements we call it as arithmetic statements. Means normally arithmetic statements can be represented using that is what assignment statements, all those can represented using arithmetic or non-arithmetic statements. So in that arithmetic, if you are using, then the intermediate code will be like a pass tree. Yeah. So another is a non-intermediate non-arithmetic statement. Non-arithmetic statement is nothing but there is no heading. Check the textbook. There is no heading. It is an explanation of non-arithmetic statement. Yeah. So the non-arithmetic statement is another type of intermediate form, where here representation is not like a pass tree, but it is a linear representation. Linear means one after the other, means it is in terms of a matrix. So what is matrix? 2 marks question. It's a non-arithmetic statement representation of a intermediate form is intermediate form which is in a linear which is in a form of linear representation of a pass tree. How pass tree was that? This pass tree, if it is in a, if your intermediate code, if it is in this order, then it is called as arithmetic statement. If it is in a linear order, then it is called as then it is called as your non-arithmetic statements. So that is what like this. So you can see that start minus finish. Start, the first operand is 1 minus finish into what you are doing. This is the first matrix, matrix 1, matrix line number 1. That need to be multiplied with the rate. So rate into M1. Then what you have? You have 2 into rate. So that is in the third line. 2 into rate. This is what the operator. Next you have again start minus finish. Then this need to be minus with the 100. Check that cost is equal, cost is equal to rate into start minus finish plus 2 into rate of rate into start minus finish minus 100 is the statement you have. Clear? So this is what line number 4, that need to be minused by 100. So this is line number 5. So matrix 5 last multiplied with the matrix 3, matrix M3 into M5. Clear? You will get the result in M6. So and then M6 is added with M2 again. Then after that you are initializing what M7 value what you got to the cost. So this is what the intermediate linear form representation for the statement this. Cost is equal to, how it is calculated? These two first it is calculated. So first line matrix 1. After that it is added with the rate. So M2 is added. M2 in the second line you have rate into M1. Clear? Next you have this part. It is doing 2 into rate, that is in a M3. Then again it is performing star minus finish M4 line. It is performing this, and M4 is again minus with the 100. That is what M5. After that M5 and M3 are multiplied. Then you have stored in the M6, and M6 and this M2 is multiplied and stored in M7, and M7 is the last final answer of the whole expression, which is assigned to the cost in line number M8. So this is what the matrix representation. If the intermediate code is represented like this, then it is called as intermediate code of a non-arithmetic statement. Sorry, non-arithmetic or arithmetic. In arithmetic you have two forms. One is pass tree, one is pass tree, pass methodology, or you can go with the matrix methodology. So both are an arithmetic form of intermediate. Both are arithmetic form of intermediate. So in both arithmetic form of intermediate statements, you can represent either matrix format or either in a pass format. Clear? So there is a heading I missed over that. This is what non-arithmetic statements. Clear? So normally we follow matrix line or a linear method to represent the matrix to represent the intermediate code. We don't use the pass tree because it again difficult to draw a pass tree. So non-arithmetic statements means these are the non-arithmetic statement. Do, if, go to. Clear? These are nothing but it is do. The statements go, if can all be replaced by a sequential ordering of individual matrix entry. Clear? If, go to, all these are non-arithmetic. These are not arithmetic operations. So these are just simply replaced with the matrix lines. One line it is given. For example, return cost. There is no arithmetic operation. It is given in the same order. And it is also written in an operator. That's it. There is no other format of representing a non-arithmetic statements. Clear? Non-executable statements are like declare dimension. These are won't execute, but it perform an operation. For example, declare. Declare will assign the storage. It don't execute, but it assign the storage. For example, if you have a declare fixed binary of 32, which is a static, then it will represent a fixed memory location of 31 bits, which is of type static, for the variable called cost, rate, start, finish. So these variables are declared with 31 bits of storage. So to declare, these statements are used. Dim you have in your VB also, to declare the dim, right? Dim variable. So it is used to declare the variable, but it won't execute, but it perform an action. So those statements are called as non-executable statements. Yeah. So in this we have intermediate code. So for 3 phases runs in analysis. That is what lexical, semantic and syntactic. Whereas in a synthesis phase, 4 phase runs. One is intermediate code. Depend on that, you have arithmetic. In arithmetic again you have two. One is fast type, or other one you have in the form of linear, right? Apart from that, we discussed with the non-arithmetic and non-executable. So in a synthesis phase, 4 phases. That is, first one intermediate code, second one is a storage allocation, next is a optimization, then is a generation. So totally 7 phases. Clear? First phase is analysis and a synthesis. In analysis, 3 phases: lexical, syntax and semantic. Similarly, in synthesis, 4 phases. One is intermediate code, storage allocation, code optimization and code generation. So storage helps to store the value. So whatever you will store, the storage will be of, always I told that is what 32 bits it required, nothing but it will, if first location is 0, then the next location is 4, and then next location is 8, then is 12. We already discussed. So all the locations takes 32 bits of storage. Clear? So temporary, whatever you have created in a linear, you remember the linear. So this was the linear we had. In this, these are the temporary, where this storage of start minus finish value is stored in the line number M1. Rate into M1, whatever the data you'll get, it is stored in the M2. These storage are not assigned, but they temporarily assigned for the purpose of calculation. So these are temporary storage. Those we call it as a temporary storage. M1, M2, M3, M4 are the matrix line number which used to store the temporary result, so that we'll get the final result. So this is how the storage will be. So cost binary fixed at 31-bit static in the location 0. Next is the second will be start with the 4. Next will be 8, because each required 31, that is 32 bits. Clear? So this was the storage. So storage, there are 4 types of storage we have. One is static, one is automatic, control and based. Static means these are the default storage class, where here the data whatever you assign, it reserved for itself. You can't change it. Clear? Whereas automatic, it's for the variable, means after the end of a procedure there won't be any storage allotted. Clear? There will not be written once the procedure end. So control type of a storage means it is nothing but used to for a common block of variables like arrays and all. If you want to have a control on a whole block, then you need to use the storage method as a control. And the base, last one, base is used for dynamically. Clear? If you have a dynamical locations, then it is based data structures or base type storage we'll use based on the runtime error. Runtime, that is based on a runtime it will run. Clear? Understood? So these are the 4 different types of so if you have variable, if you are declared as a automatic, control or a based, then information in a variable is available at the execution time. Clear? Automatic, controlled and a based declaration. Static means it will be static for overall. These declared as in this order, then information about that variable including the object, and thus is available at the execution time. Clear? That is available in the execution. There are some of the statement like begin. These are the directives. Procedure, begin at allocate. So these require little memory storage, which is a default memory storage. We need to be reserved whenever it is called, and whenever end return free is called, it should be free the dynamically used storage. So dynamic allocation and dynamic reallocation of these storage will be happen for these statements. Yeah. So this is how compiler work. If you have specified for a variable, it will reserve, but reservation will be in the first location will be 0, second location will be 4, because each takes 32 bits. Clear? And there are 4 different types, that is static, control, automatic and based. Static means it is fixed, whereas based it is used during the dynamically based on. Clear? And automatic is nothing but it's for a variable declaration, and control it's for a common block of data to be controlled, or a block of area to be controlled, that's an array like, then it should be used. Apart from that, if you have a procedure begin allocate, then dynamical allocation and dynamically reallocation of a storage will happen for this. Clear? So next is code generation, the third phase of synthesis phase. or we can call it as sixth phase, code generation. Code, how the code is generated. In a code generation, once a code generated, again we'll check whether can we optimize, can we increase the efficiency. So code optimization, code generation together works. So first code optimization will come, it will check, again it will create the code generation. After generating a code, again can we optimize. So what is this optimize? You can come across when if you go one by one. So code generation, in a code generation you can see that code generation means it is nothing but object program can be generated after the compiler has created a matrix for the supporting information. It acts as a supporting information, that is nothing but code production table. So code generation use a table that is called code production table. This is 2 marks question. What is code production table? So the matrix form of a table is there that help me to generate the code. So that is called as code production table. What is this? It is nothing but it is, this table act as a macros. How you macro? You will call a macro, then its line of instructions will be represented. So this is what a code. If you have a minus, then this is a call, it will replace this statement. If you have a star, then it will replace with this statement. If you have a plus, then it will replace with this statement. And if you have a is equal to, then this will replacement in this type. So this is how the code is generated. Code generation means it uses a code production table which is a macro format. Macro based means all the details will be stored. Minus means it need to be between two operator and result will be stored in the result register 1. So this is how between two operator, between one operator. So this is what the statement. Minus means this need to be executed. Into means this need to be executed. Like this, the code has been stored for each arguments. Whenever your argument call, it's a macro call. It will substitute this. So we'll see that. We'll check it in your table. So check. You had called in a matrix line minus star finish. Start finish. Minus you called. In a minus, what it should do? In a minus, it told that 3 statements of line it has been given. Those are, just check it out. You have what? L1 comma operand 1, S1 comma operand 2, and store, there is L subtract and ST, store 1 comma M and N. M and N is line number. So L1 comma operand 1 is start, S1 comma operand 2 is finish. Then store 1 comma M ampersand 1. Ampersand 1 means the line number. That is for the first line, M1. So next it's called star. Again for the star you have same. For the star, L1 comma operand 1, M0 comma operand 2, and ST 1 comma M and N. And N starts for the number. Clear? This is what, in what number it is executing, which line it is executing, number. So this is second line. This is second line of a matrix. So one in that operator is rate and second operator is M1 here. Because your rate you are multiplying with the start minus 1. So this you can see in your operand table, we have represented that. The intermediate table. So this was the rate into M1. So this we had, right? So same thing we will use there. So rate into M1, what we have in this, that only I am taking over here. So we will have that. So star rate M1 means here operand 1 is rate and operand 2 is M1. L1 comma rate M0 comma M1 and ST comma M2. So whenever you call an operand, these 3 lines is substituted. So this is how the coding is done. For all the statement, this is how the coding is done. For is equal to what need to be done. So whenever you will write start minus finish, then whenever there is a 5 minutes, the macro is called the code production table. In that where the argument matches or which operate matches, that statement macro lines will be substituted. You can see here is equal to is called 2 lines of statement is substituted, because you can see in the production rule you have same is equal to, you have 2 lines. So operand 1 and operand 2. So in the same order it has been generated. So this is how code is generated. Code generation. Yeah, so code generation, you can see that you had generate a code, but here you can see the line number 1 as well as line number 4 is same. Instead of doing 3 plus 3 lines, 3 lines means 1 line, 4 byte, 4 location it will using 1 2 3 1 2 3, same set of statement is performing, right? Line number is changed. Instead of that, can't I use the same line M1 here instead of creating one more line as a M4? So this is what the optimization. Here I am repeating the same task, start minus finish. I already done, result is stored in M1. I am directly using that M1 with the next line instead of M4, M1 into 100. I can do this instead of again executing all this, right? So that's a drawback. And one more thing you can see in the here line number, these two line number M7. So storing the result, clear, 1 M7, whatever the result you will get in this line number to the register 1. In the next code, what we are doing, we are storing the data from the register 1 to again M1. These statements are waste, right? Simply loading. In the next line we are again replacing it. These lines are waste, right? So this is what optimization. We need to remove all those things. This is called as optimization. You can see that. So here line number 1 and 4 is identical, so it's a redundancy. We are repeating the task, and these two performing the same task, loading and again storing back. So there we need to optimize. So optimize can be done in a two way. One is machine dependent and one is again machine independent optimization. So optimization, first we'll go with it machine dependent. So machine dependent optimization means here we have, these are the statements we had. So line 8, this statement we have. Optimization is remove that. Don't use that because we already have in the result of start minus finish in line number 1. Right. So again making the same task again in a line number 4. Instead of that, we'll skip that line number and use that M1 result to multiply with 100. So same we are multiplying. We are start minus 100 finish, whatever the data will get, you are multiplying with the 100, you are minusing with the 100. So this value you already got in the line number, so skip that term. This is one type of an doing your code optimization. So it is not depend on the machine. Clear? Second is compile time computation. So second time is, so check over here. You have an expression like A, this is also machine independent. A is equal to 2 into 276 divided by 92 into B. So this is first statement is 2 into 276. So it stores the result of these two. Then it should be divided by 92. So first line should be divided by 92 over. Then these two be multiplied with the B. So this result is multiplied with the B, and finally it is assigned to last M3 is assigned to A in the line number. So these three. These are the constant. You can do directly. You can calculate, and only one task you can do instead of doing the 4 separate sides. Check. If you divide everything, you'll get a 6. 6 into B is very simple. Instead of having such a large expression, if you simplify, if you go for simplifying it, if you have a constant, simplify and write the code. So this is what the second code optimization, machine independent, in that this type of optimization should be done. Yeah? Third type is Boolean expression optimization. Boolean expression optimization means if you are checking, for example, you are checking a condition that A is greater than B, B is greater than C. For writing if A is greater than, then A is greater number. Checking 3 numbers, imagine which is the biggest in the 3. If A is equal to B, checking that. If A is greater than B, then yeah, A is greater. Then again, if A is greater than C, then A is greater. Then B is greater than C, then B is greater. Instead of writing such a huge condition, use OR condition. If A is greater than B or A is greater than C, A is greater. One more condition, if B is greater than C, then B is greater, else A is greater. So in a 3 condition we will end up, instead of going one by one. So use such an expression, such a jumbled expression. In one expression you go with the 2 or more expressions, so that you can reduce the number of executions, number of lines in the matrix, so that it will be optimizable. Yeah. Third type, one more we have, that is what moving the invariant computation outside the loop. For example, invariant, don't change variables. Some variables don't change, then it should not repeat in the loop because it should repeat for 10 times. For example, you have a loop, do I is equal to 1 to j, and you have such things. Next again one more loop, j is equal to, and here I have a is equal to 10. Next you have the statements like by is equal to y plus 2, I plus 2, I value changes over here. Okay, fine, no problem. J value changes because j into I have done. Then c plus 10. Okay, c is equal to c plus 10. It need to be repeated. This initialization a is equal to 10, a is equal to 10, a is equal to 10, repeat for 10 times, which is of no use. A is not used anywhere. It is not used for increment like c. It is not used in expression. Then simply assigning for 10 times, whenever 10 times it run, 10 times it will get assigned, right? So it is also kills the time. So instead of doing that, put it outside. So identify which are invariables. So that is what first step. Recognize the invariantable computation. So here this is invariant. Second step, recognize where it should be. Discover where it should be moved. Definitely it will move outside the loop and immediately after the loop. Then the third step is move the invariant computation. You move the delete from that location wherever you had and delete that location and write after the executions. Remove here and you need to place it after the loop. Yeah, so these are the 3 steps of removing the invariant computations. Yeah. So next is optimization on machine dependent. Method of optimization is machine dependent. So this depends on the code. So can I reduce the code? If I reduce the code, then it reduce the memory utilization. If I reduce the memory utilization, then it is nothing but we are optimizing in the based of a machine dependent, because memory is dependent on the machine. If we can run in a small memory instead of a large memory. So if we are optimizing based on the memory, then we call it as machine dependent optimization. Till here we have depend on the code. You can use a simple coding method, or you can go with a different difficult coding method also, so that you can minimize the, or you can increase the efficiency or minimize the number of statements. So it depends on the coding, it depends on the user. Now optimization is depend on the machine. This optimization of machine independent and dependent again comes in your next phase of that's what the small chapter we have, phases of a compiler. There again I won't repeat in a video. Clear? So code optimization on machine dependent. So here we, in the beginning of a class we told that, or in your assemble college, during your assemble chapter I told that there are 16 registers, right? But you can see that here we use only one register, that is, and two registers, that is, one is register 1 and the 0. Register 1 0, register 1 0, register 1 0, register 1 0. You can see M1 is nothing but matrix. All the first way operands are called matrix, or it is nothing but only register 1, or apart from that register 0. So you can 1 statements of 4 bytes. So 4 into 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 4 2s are 8. So totally one line is 4 byte. There are 20 lines, so total length of the program is 80 byte. Here we need to reduce that. That's what the optimization. You can check the figure out how much we reduce. Out of 80 we are reducing only till 36. So how we are reducing? We know that there are large number of registers we have. So instead of using all the registers, why we are just sticking on the 1 or 2 registers? So we have 16 registers, general purpose registers used for the execution. Then store all the results in different registers, so that it will be very fast. Execution will be very fast. Within a minute it will execute and it will give the result. So same thing we have done. So we have loaded the start in register 1, and we have subtracted that, and result is in the register 1. We are storing the result in the register 1. We are not storing again in the line number. Register 1 in the line number, again we are storing it back. We are not doing, we are using one register as it is. So this stores R1 store start minus finish. So one register over. Second register is the second register. Second register we won't use, we'll leave it for the execution. We use third register to store. So this is what the plan we are doing. We are next what? We are using 4. Third is over. Fourth we are using for the execution. Fifth we are using for the storing. Next 6 is used for the execution. 7 is used for the storing. Like that 16 out of 16 register we are doing. So first register fine. Second we used over here for multiplying. So multiplying, there is, instead of going a single, here MR we used. MR is, it is performing the multiplication and it is storing the result. It is doing two tasks in one single line. Instead of having two different lines, we are reducing and multiplying and storing the results. Two tasks it is performing in one instruction, so it's very fast instruction. So what you are doing, you are using register 3 to store the rate, and we are multiplying rate with register 1 content. Rate with register 1 content, that is what a 2. This was used for the execution purpose. To register to whatever the data you have, you are multiplying with the 1. So these two multiplied and result is placed in the register 3. Clear? Instead of 3 we are reduced to 2. Here also 3 is reduced to 2. Next, here again 3 is used, 4 is used for the calculation, 5 is used to store. So what we are storing? We are storing after last, we need to store the result. So what we need to do here, we need to, this is a 2 which is nothing but constant, which is loaded to the register 5, and 5, register 5, nothing but it is stored in the 4. It is multiplied with the, instead of 0 we are using the register 1 more for the calculation, multiply with the rate. Here 2 is multiplied with the rate and result is stored in the 5. So line number 4 is skipped because we already did in optimization of machine independent. Next here again in M1 means it is nothing but start minus finish. Start minus 1 finished result is in a R1. So simply we are storing 100 and subtracting with the result register 1. Register 1 minus 100 we are doing, and result is stored in the R1 itself. So M5 value is stored in the, means line number 5 value is stored in the register 1. Means now register 1 have the value of star minus finish minus 100. So we reduce 3 lines to 1. Next here 5 is over, 6 is used for the calculation, 7 is used to store it. So load the fifth line whatever the data and multiply and store to the register. So first you have start minus finish minus 100, that need to be multiplied with the fifth in the sense whatever you had in the previous, that is multiplied with the R means the rate. Okay, then it is stored R2 register, that is what this line result is stored in the R7. Then R8 is used. Here nothing but last we are storing, we are multiplying which this with the, we are adding, that is what rate into star minus 100 is done, which is in the result of R3, and 2 into rate into star minus finish minus 100, this result is in the R1. So we are adding these two content using the AR. This is also instruction which is doing these two tasks together, and result is stored in a R3, multiplied and result is in a R3. So R3 should be assigned to the cost. So that is what the last statement, R3 is assigned to the cost. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So total 11 statements. In that all are register statement which is of 2 bytes. So this is 2 byte, not 4 byte, 2 byte. This is 2 byte and this is 2 byte. So 3 statements are of 2 byte. Means 11 minus 3 is how much? 11 minus 3 is 8. 8 fours are 32 and all are 2 bytes. So total is 36. Yes, so this is what the bytes we reduce. So we are using, how we are doing, we are, instead of using the one single, we are using 16 registers. 16 means we used over here only 7 for our executions, only 7 was used. Then here we are using very fast and the shorter instruction compared to the larger, which required for 4 byte. We are using only 2 and 1 byte instructions. That is what MR and AR. Yeah, so this is how optimization done. Yeah, so it is what are reductions. So next is your local and global optimization. This is nothing but these are two phases of optimization. Global means it is done for the larger program, and local means it is done for the very small procedures. Then it's called local optimization and global optimization. So this was the last phase. This is local and global optimization, 2 marks question. So these are the two definition. Assembly phase. Yeah. So last, this is nothing but assembling. All the optimization, all the generation is over. Now assigning one after the other so that it will ready for the execution. So everything is done by the compiler, and only the output, only the linking is done. Then the program here allocations, everything will be done by the linker. It will just gives the output, the second output the object program. But if it should load, then it should perform. At least there is no task for the assembly if everything is done by the linker. If there is a task for the assembly, then it should perform all this, resolve the label references, calculate the addresses, new addresses where it should be loaded. Clear? Because if linker and loader is not doing, that is what absolute loader, if it is doing, then it is there is no task of a reassembling. But if you have a relocate loader, then you need to go with the resolving the label reference. You need to calculate the addresses, you need to generate the binary instruction code and generate the storage and convert all the literals. So this is what the assembler phase task if the lot of work has been done by the assembler, and phases must resolve the references. Clear? If lots of work has not done, then this will be done during the assembler. Else it is very easy. If everything is done, then it is just giving to the linker and loading to the program for the execution. Clear? So this is 5 marks question. What is the assembler phase? So last, general model of a compiler, which is what a 10 marks or a 15 marks question. How the model is. So there are how many phases? 7 phases. So you can take 1, 2, 3 interpretation. These are analysis phase. Next comes your machine independent. In that intermediate code. In that you have machine independent, storage allocation, code generation and assembly. So these are the 4 phases. Clear? 4 plus 3 is 7. So lexical, what it will analyze all the basic elements, all the tokens. Syntax, it checks for the syntax with the reduction forms. Then that is what the rules. Then it interpret and extract the meaning. If there is any long in a meaning, then it is a logical error and it will shows the error. Whereas in the 4th phase, independent optimization, that is nothing but optimal matrix optimization, storage, allocating all the literals, variables, whatever you are used in a program, dynamic or a static storage, all these assignment. Then generation, generating the optimal assembly code. And 4th is assembly the output, assembling or the output the machine instruction. So you can see that 1 to 4 are machine independent or language dependent, whereas 5 to 7, the phases from 5, 6, 7 is machine dependent and language independent. Okay, so what are the data structures it is used, or the database is first source program, the user program, uniform symbol table, whatever the token listed you are doing are stored using a symbol table. Terminal tables, all the terminals, that is special characters, whatever you use, semicolon, open bracket, close bracket, those are called as the terminal tables. Identifier, it store all the variables used in a used in a program during a lexical phase. Literal table, it is also generated using a literal phase, which stores the literal, contains all the program literal or a constant. Reduction, it's a rule which is used by the syntax phase to analyze the syntax, right, and or interpret the meaning. For that it use the reduction. Next, it has a matrix, that is nothing but to create an intermediate code which perform the this matrix is nothing but line by line, which created by a action routine. What action to be taken? Whenever you create, you will get an object or an operator. With the help of that, you can call the code production to get the definition of that. So it's a permanent table, code production table, where you have a detail of a operator, so that whenever the matrix is created, you will get the operator and it act as a call to the code production table, and you will get the statement of that operation, right? And finally is you need to assemble the code. And finally after reassemble, if you are compile and go method, then it will directly run from that location. But if you use a relocate loader, then it should be reloaded and make it is done by the loader and made it ready for the execution. So this is what the diagram, how the compiler is there. So there are 7 phases: lexical, syntax, interpretation, machine independent optimizations, storage, and code generation. So it will lexical analyzer, use terminal program, terminal table. So these are used. The dotted line, whatever you have, it is used. Solid line, it is producing. So source program is taken, terminal table is taken, and it is giving you uniform symbol table and identify table and literal table. Whereas analysis phase using uniform symbol table and reduction table, and it is giving help for the interpretation to get the meaning. It was creating the intermediate, that is what the matrix. And matrix intermediate matrix is used by the machine independent and giving the optimized matrix. Then the storage allocation use the identifiers as well as the code sections, and optimization, the code section will use the optimized table and generate the assembly code. Assembly code is given to the assemble and it is given to the relocation loader to load to the memory. Clear? So dotted lines. So database, what are they used? So database are, these are the permanent tables: terminal, reductions, and code productions. Whereas these are the generated tables. These are the database, and the structures shows in the above, where here dotted lines, whatever solid lines you have, it is created, are shown by the solid lines, and used are shown by dashed lines. So that's what the compiler, how the phases run. So next you have phases of a compilers. Thank you. Read the textbook.